How you doing? How you, John? Nice to see you.
Alright.
Good man.
You'll have to meet this week.
I will indeed. How are you doing? Hello, you're listening to Count Richard von Coudenhove Kalergi, just outside the Mansion House here for the turning of the Sovereign Seal by, I think, Billy Maguire. Here's Ciara. Hi, Ciara. How you doing? How are you? Nice to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you doing?
Grand, thanks. Here's Billy.
Are you going to do this?
I am indeed.
Oh, me too, yeah.
So,
I think that someone said that their audio is not working. The musician said that. I don't know if
Okay.
they've got it fixed or not. So just
Hopefully.
you might need to go closer in.
yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Chat to you in a bit, huh? There's Ben Gilroy there as well. The 21st of January 1919, setting of the first stall. Coincidentally, it was also the same day as the attack by Dan Breen, Seamus Robinson and Sean Tracy on the ammunition convoy down in Solaheg, Beg and Tipperary, which was really the kickstart of the War of Independence. So let's keep an eye on what's going on here. It's a good turnout, probably I would say over 100 people.
Oh, come on again. We meet every year.
Strange enough, at this ceremony, there is usually a member of the Indian government, as the fourth president of India was a gentleman by the name of V.V. Singh. Joined Sinn Féin in 1916. He was in the Royal College, studying the Royal College of Surgeons, and was deported from the country on him joining Sinn Féin. Just a little bit of history thrown in there.
To the Mansion House, but the Lord Mayor and the Free State Government will commemorate the Black and Tans and the RIC, but they will not commemorate the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhood, who funded and founded the state in the 1918 32 county election from GHQ Vaughan's Hotel, which my family bought. If you read the proclamation, we only had a provisional government in 1916. We had to have a sovereign government. We used to rent a room from Mrs. Vaughan, 29 Parnell Square and Granby Road, for the Irish and Fenian Republican Brother, Cumann Na Fianna and Nini Heron, and all those Republicans. And we put them in there. But in 1917, when Britain called that election, the 1918 32 county election on the 14th of December 1918, we bought Vaughan's Hotel for that purpose, for the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhood. And we donated £1 million for that election. And if we hadn't donated £1 million for that election, you wouldn't have got your independence today. And that's the mandate we still have. All 32 counties, all our territory, the largest in Europe, to our border downwards, down the Irish Sea. And Darren will read that letter. Those letters will be read after I turn the sovereign seal. But it just shows you today, we have the wealthiest country in Europe, the largest country in Europe, and we're the wealthiest country in Europe with the poorest people. And I think the scandalous, the propaganda, lies and deception and fraud that the Free State government are putting out. They never mentioned that it was a 32 county election until this was elected. This election was announced last week. It was a 32 county election. Dáil Éireann is a 32 county election. Dáil Éireann sat here in the round room where they're sitting today. It was IRB Sinn Féin who founded and funded the state, nobody else, and paid for it. And as you know, this is where Dáil Éireann never sat in Leinster House. It's the Royal Oireachtas that sits. And that, you must read that, that will be read to you now, why the British on the 6th of December 1921 imposed a British apartheid system for the 6 counties of Ireland as an orange-free propaganda. And that is to pay for Britain's war debts and their war pensions. That's what the Free State was set up for. That's what you are paying for today. That's where all your taxes are going. And why should you be paying it when we have on this day, the 21st of January 1919, a sovereign Dáil government without any debt? And when a politician goes and knocks on your door, all those in the first sovereign Dáil government had to take the oath of allegiance to the state, the Sovereign Republic of Éire, the sovereign Dáil government, and the sovereign Dáil courts, and the War of Independence as a defence force. And that's the mandate we won, 73 seats out of 105. And how is it that Britain imposed that Free State and you're still paying for it? I can't understand why you're doing it. We're also announcing today that since the Free State will not recognise the Sovereign Republic of Éire, the Sovereign Dáil government and the Sovereign Dáil courts, we will lease the state, all 32 counties and all our territory, right to America. We're the only country that can set foot in America, right to our border down the Irish Sea with Britain, to the state that will govern us in accordance with that 1918 32 county mandate. Thank you very much. We'll read the proclamation first, please.
The Provisional Government of the Irish Republic, to the people of Ireland, Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her own tradition of nationhood, Ireland through us summons her children to her flag and strikes for freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through her own military organisations, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizen Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment and, supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying in the force on her own strength, and she strikes in full confidence for victory. We declare the right of the Irish people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies, to be sovereign and indivisible. The long insurrection for which that right by foreign people and the government has not extinguished the right, nor can it ever be extinguished except by the destruction of the Irish people. In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the past 300 years, they have asserted it in arms, standing on that fundamental right, and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world. We hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state, and we pledge our lives and our lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom. It's of its welfare and its exaltation among the nations. The Irish Republic is entitled to and hereby claims the allegiance of every Irishman and every Irish woman. The Republic guarantees religious and civil liberty, equal rights and equal opportunities to all its citizens, and declares it resolved to pursue the happiness and prosperity of the whole nation and of all its parts, cherishing all the children of the nation equally and oblivious to all differences, carefully fostered by an alien government, which had divided a minority from the majority in the past, until our arms have brought the opportunities moment for the establishment of a permanent national government representative of the whole people of Ireland and elected by the suffrages of all her men and women. The provisional government hereby constituted will administer the civil and military affairs of the Republic in trust for the people. We place the cause of the Irish Republic under the protection of the Most High God, whose blessing we invoke upon our arms, and we pray that no one who serves that cause will dishonour it by cowardice, inhumanity or opinion. In this supreme hour, the Irish nation must, by its valour and discipline and by its readiness of its children to sacrifice themselves to the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny for which it is called. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government, Thomas J. Clark, Sean McDermott, Thomas McDonough, P.H. Pearce, Eamon Kent, James Connolly and Joseph Plunkett.
2020, the Irish Republican Brotherhood commemorating the 21st of the 1st, 2020, the 101st anniversary of the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, the 101st anniversary of the Sovereign Dáil Éireann government, the 101st anniversary of the Sovereign Dáil Éireann Republican Courts, four courts, and the War of Independence, Anno Domini 2020. I, William James Maguire, elevated and turned from this centre, the Mansion House, Dublin, the sovereign seal of Dáil Éireann, AD 12 strings, a Celtic Christian symbol and ethos, from the rising sun to the setting sun, from north to south and from east to west, and from wrong to right, from evil to good, and from pagan to Christian to sovereign, as in the 1916 Proclamation. And I claim sovereignty over all our elements, earth, air, fire and water, and all therein and thereof, on behalf of the sovereign citizens of the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, man's intellect and reason, the sovereignty of God and the sovereignty of mankind. Sealed, signed and sealed on this day, the 21st of January 2020, under the sovereign seal of the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, William James Maguire, President of the Irish and Fenian Republican Brotherhood, President of the Sovereign Republic of Ireland, President of the Sovereign Dáil Éireann government. That's the seal. That seal is on your passport. That was all done here today. And that is, the people are sovereign. The people in the United Kingdom are not sovereign, they're subjects to the Crown. And that's the difference. You own the land of Ireland. We'll read that for you now. That's, you look at that and you see what's on your passport. That's the two five-string harps. The two five-string harps were on the Ark of the Covenant, and they were carried here by your ancestors before the Roman Empire and Roman Christianity put two angels on board. And I will show you how you do it. The harp is the covenant between God and man with all the information for his planet Earth and our civilization. And look, that's the wheel. The strings become the spokes, and that's the hub of the wheel for the world. How man learned to write. Look at the arc of the sundial, compass wheel, sunbox, sound box. The strings, how man learned to write. Everything you want to know. All mathematics, all science, all astronomy comes from that. And that's your intellect and reason and your five senses. And those two five-string harps, which were on the Ark of the Covenant, were brought here by your people from the Middle East, right across through Europe, right across through North Africa, here to Lochburn in County Limerick. And that's where it comes from. It's your intellect and reason and your five senses. That's how you can understand all that mathematics and science. And you can all, I said, the harp is the covenant between God and man with all his information for our planet Earth and new civilization. We have to form our own civilization through our intellect and reason and our five senses with all that knowledge. So I turn the sovereign seal from the rising sun to the setting sun, from north to south, and from east to west, from wrong to right, from pagan to Christian, good. Man's intellect and reason and his five senses. And that's it. And that's how you turn it.
God bless Ireland.
That's the golden page, your measuring tape, your plumb line, your straight edge, everything you want to
Count
know.
Richard
about
from
Ireland
Coudenhove
today
Kalergi.
and our civilization.
Good afternoon,
It's
good
on
luck,
that.
and God bless.